right, so welcome to this week's Beyond the Odds podcast, where we talk about all things that have to do with the odds and betting and using our tools to help us make a better chance of winning, better bets.
Yeah, let's do it.
Through statistics, through software, and through analytics.
Yeah.
So, as a newbie, let me go ahead and introduce Gary. I'm Brian, and we're here to discuss all the processes, the tools, the gadgets, the widgets that come in on the website that help us build out a betting model.
Right.
So help me out here, Gary. How would I do this to start out betting on Major League Baseball? It's my first time here looking at the tool. What would I do? How would I set up a model?
The first thing I would do, and I'm going to actually kind of take you through a little bit of a tour here, if that's cool with you. Obviously, you got to pick the sport in baseball. As you can see on the main page, you've got a whole bunch of things going on. It's obviously nighttime. The games are going on right now. So what I do is I typically like to start with the analytics. So I hit the Analyze button, which will come up here in a second. And basically, there's a whole bunch of different types of analytical models that work. When you basically sign up there, you get, I think, like a dozen analytical models, right? I've created a lot of their analytical models of my own, so I can basically see kind of some of the data points that I want to build a good model. Some interesting things to point out here. I'm just going to walk you through just a hypothetical, right? Look at this. 0-2 wins in the last 10 games, 8-1 in the last week. By the way, I'm looking at the last week, the 25th to the 1st of August. Incredible. I would have never guessed that. Not that you can bet on that to be continued, but it's an interesting data point. But I've basically broken this down in a range of 0-2 wins, 3-4 wins, 5-6 wins. I'm looking for trends,
right,
so I can build a model to get the max confidence or predictive confidence. Then I look at the away team as a favorite, not great. The away team as an underdog, 56%. Then I look at this one. The away team as the underdog, 56% in the last week. Home team as underdog, 61%. The last week. Just betting underdogs, you're getting plus money in the last week. Any game you bet, if you bet every game, you'd be making money.
So when you're saying on the plus money, so that's for every dollar I bet, I get $1 plus whatever the mark is?
Yeah, if the money line's plus 150, you bet $1, you win $1.50 plus your dollar back, right? So 50% on top of what you're betting is pretty good, which is pretty powerful if you look at the numbers, right? I mean, you're plus money at 60% for a week. Those are the things you kind of look for. Then I kind of break it down. So I'm doing analytics again, starting pitcher stats, under 3.5 earned runs per game, 3.5 to 4.5. I'm looking at the different ranges. Obviously, good ERA, you'd expect a little better win percentage. And so I go through those different models, and I go down here and I look at the WHIP, which is walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. I look at over-under stats. I'm looking for something that's going to hit 60+% or higher typically, but I'm looking at independent kind of data points to build a model. And you can see I'm kind of scrolling through here really quickly, looking for some trends. Nothing's really popping off the paper yet, besides the home dogs. And basically, here's another thing. If you want to not fade the public, actually follow the public, I guess, in this case. Right now, when 81% to 100% of the people betting on the game is, or actually the percentage of money is 66%. That's pretty strong. So there's some things here. So I'd go through. My advice is go through, understand analytics, understand what's actually winning right now, so you can build a model to kind of follow those data points.
And so these statistics are constantly updating, right?
Basically, oh, yeah.
Each day's game, each week, what have you. So it's not, I don't have to go back and go look for some data somewhere. The whole purpose of this is to provide me that analytic data. That's right. Kind of real time.
Like, here's another thing really quickly, too. If you want to drill into these models and see the results, I drilled into one to 81 to 100% of the money being bet on a game the last week. If you don't want to just believe the 12-6 record, you can go down here for the last week and see the results, right? I can see the team over here was 81%, which was Tampa Bay. They won, right? I can reconcile right here. Go down the page. I clicked on the model. I'm kind of scrolling through here, and I'm just checking out the numbers. 82%. They won again. Obviously this one didn't win, but the thing is, you can see the results and see the game, so you don't have to just look at the record and go, okay, I hope the data's right.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool, because that's one reason why I didn't really like to bet before.
You didn't know.
I'm like, I don't know why am I doing this?
Yeah. So to kind of take it one step further, if you want, we can kind of go through a hypothetical model. I can show you a model and kind of explain what's going on here.
Yeah, let's do a model.
Let's do that. So let's build one from scratch. Go back to baseball. Let's hit new. Just going to throw something together here for fun. I'll be very quick about it. We'll call this demo for Brian. Let's put this in my models group. And I'm going to have to add a gadget.
So I can save multiple models in as I make models here.
Yeah,
whatever I want to try, I can try and model 2 or 3 different things or four.
Absolutely. Actually, the thing I've been doing in the last 3 or 4 days a lot is I take 3 or 4 models and run against all the games in a day, and then try to find the common games that I want to bet.
So you go back then with the analytics again, and you're looking at which ones are more successful than the others.
Yeah, I'm cross-referencing models to try to figure out what games are really truly the best plays. Different models have different predictive confidence. You know that, but I want to run 2 or 3 scenarios.
Yeah.
One scenario is not exactly, proven. So
I love it.
Yeah. So let's go in here. Let's just say hypothetically, we wanted to focus on things like, let's see, home win percentage. That's an easy one. Let's just make it super simple. Under 50% of their win record is less than 50%. They get 0 points. Actually, if they're over 50, we'll give them 10 points. Then we can go in here and add a gadget really quickly for the away win percentage, which obviously is very similar. And we'll do the same thing. Under 50% of their games they lose, they get no points. If they're over 50%, over 500 basically, right? They're going to get 10 points. So you can do that. Then you can come up here, add gadgets. Last 10 games. I like this gadget actually quite a bit.
Catch you if you're hot or somebody's cold or...
Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of interesting. So I'm going to do this one a little bit differently. We'll say 0 to 3, we'll give no points. We'll say greater than 3, which is 4 to 6, we'll give it 5 points. And anything over 6, let's just say, which is 7 to 10, we'll make it 10 points.
All right. So what you're showing me right here is I'm able to decide what my granularity of breakouts is and what I want to weight the value. 0 is sort of nothing, but 3 to 5, what have you, for positive points that add up to my model, right? That's kind of part of how it calculates my confidence and win later.
Absolutely.
And that's why that plus sign allows me to get as granular as I want, right?
Absolutely. You're nailing it.
That's amazing.
It's cool. That's very cool. You go down here, we'll do some fun stuff. Let's do team stats, right? Obviously, I want to know if the teams are good at hitting the ball in baseball. That seems like a pretty critical component, right? So I'm going to do, let's say, 4 different things. I think I'll pick, what are the most important things? Probably batting average, right? Obviously. Where's batting average at? I'm missing it. Oh, here's average. Okay. Let's go for guys that hit maybe let's do on-base percentage.
On-base percentage to me is an important one.
Yep, exactly. And then maybe slugging percentage.
Yep, we're knocking those runs in for sure.
Yep, and then we'll go down here. What's one more? Let's pick one more. What's one you would want to use? You want to use home runs, RBIs? What's kind of top of mind?
I would do RBIs.
Okay. So you do that. I always like to put, in baseball, there's 32 teams. I love to put 32 as my value. That way, when I'll show you later, when I'm looking at the predictive confidence, I know exactly how these teams rank.
So you've matched the 32 for each team. So that's your kind of your baseline on.
Yeah, but I'll show you later why this is important. And a lot of times what I do is I take the same thing for the other gadgets and multiply them in increments of 32. So the whole model kind of lines up. So anyway, so you got the team thing here. Let's do one more gadget really quickly just for fun. So I go down here. Let's do the starting pitcher stats. Just like hitters, there's a couple key data points or stats. I like ERA. Obviously, anybody who watches baseball knows earned run average is hugely important to a pitcher. And I like the whip. The whip is the walks plus hits divided by innings pitched. It's almost a better metric than the ERA because sometimes you can have a really good whip, but your ERA is a little high. You're still a good pitcher. You're not throwing a lot of walks, not giving a lot of base balls, not giving up a lot of hits. Sometimes it's bad beats, right? But I'll do a whip, which should be right here at the bottom. And I'll say under Ford, for make it simple, he gets 1 point over, actually, maybe 10 points, sorry. And then anything over Ford, we'll just say it's 0. Keep the model simple. Same thing with the whip, right? Go in here for the whip, we'll say 1.33 is kind of the, sorry, I'm kind of fat fingering it, 0.33. is under that's good. So we'll say 10 points. Anything over that, we'll just leave it at 0. So this is kind of just a very, very simple fundamental model, kind of showing some different things.
But you just brought in a whole number of different statistics and measurements here for building that confidence out.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's cool. No more spreadsheets. No more trying to go to the paper, put all the data points in. I mean, this is fully automated. I'll show you why. So I'm going to say this is a money line model. So I'm going to check it. So on the main page, actually, I'll check all these things so you can see all of them. Actually, I'll take the over under out and I'll save it, right? So I got Brian as demo. Models there. Go back to the main page for baseball. Let's see how Brian's model looks. Here's a demo for Brian. And I'll show you the 32 number really quickly. We go to a game a little bit later in the day. Hasn't started yet. So here we go. San Diego, Colorado. How do I know, let me move this up slightly higher. How do I know the team stats? Well, I know there's 32 teams. They're getting 21 points for on-base percentage, which means they're 11th in the league.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing tooltip right there.
See, that's how I do it. I constantly am looking at that 16. There's 32 teams. I know they're middle of the pack and slugging percentage a little bit higher. They're like, some teams like, right now this pitcher, his ERA is bad. He got no points for ERA. He got no points for the WHIP. So let's go over here and double check that. Yeah, 6.25, 1.61 or zeros.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you kind of see that confidence drops down a little bit, even though San Diego's a little better there. But
yeah, it's interesting because they're actually a heavy favorite, but the predictive confidence is not far apart. I mean, you're almost better off to bet Colorado. The points are that close. So that's kind of a quick demo of just building a model and kind of looking at the main page. And like I said, you can hover over the pitchers, see the stats. You can look over the predictive confidence and see the stats, and that's kind of it.
So if you're not ready to dive right in with your wallet as far as betting goes, you can certainly go through here and model and figure out what are the things that I want to be able to track, because that's super powerful right there, what you brought back up with the 32 teams and looking at the percentage with the tooltip, because I'm new to this. So for me, that was amazing information that comes up on that.
The other thing I do a lot is I actually have models where I look at the betting percentage, what they call the splits, percentage of bets, and the percentage of money. And what I'm looking for here, and the models will do this for me. I have models like, let me find a good example. A lot of these games are going on right now, but like this one's a good example. San Francisco has 48% of the bets, so less than half the people are betting on San Francisco, and yet 85% of the money is on San Francisco. So less than half the people are betting almost 8/10 of the money, which is incredible. And they're actually slightly a dog in this.
They're dog, yeah. I remind
so
108.
Obviously, you got to look at some other factors. So you got to look at the batting average. I mean, Arizona's got a pretty good team. Like their batting average is number 8. Their on base percentage is 12. They're pretty high up. Their pitcher is not extremely strong. I guess he is strong. I'm sorry, at 10 points. And then down here, what am I looking at? The whip on this guy is not strong. Last 10 wins. You can kind of compare the teams without doing all the math yourself.
Yeah.
So,
as an inherently lazy person, I never wanted to do the math, which is why I never would bet on baseball.
Yeah, it tells you at the bottom, 76 of the 168 possible points is 45%. We call that predictive confidence.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I love it.
And you did it so fast with this. I mean, since I'm new to this piece, I've done a couple on my own, but I didn't quite understand what I was doing. And this was super helpful to show me why and how these different widgets can all add up together. And that tooltip is amazing at the end to kind of check your work for the reasoning of why the confidence is what it is.
Let's take it one step further. Let's go just share this model with you. See, I'm going to share it, and boom, it's off to you. You have that model now.
Awesome.
And we like today, somebody came to us, one of the users said, hey, I want to get the umpire, stats on how they call games for over-unders. It was done in like 4 to 5 hours by one of the co-founders.
Yeah, I saw that on the Reddit channel going through today, and I was like, seriously, it's already up?
He did it in a matter of, he had to adjusted the data in probably less than 30 minutes. I mean, it takes time to collect it, but he had it set up to pull the data. And then he already had a template from another gadget. He just repurposed it, and 3 or 4 hours later, it's working. So we're evolving this thing all the time. It's very, very quick.
So like the roadmap for this going forward, it's going to be, you've got basketball, pro basketball, hockey, NFL.
Yeah.
Clearly, we are
Yeah.
weeks away from the NFL's preseason starting.
Oh, yeah. We love NFL. Everybody loves NFL. So everybody's excited about that. College basketball is up here. NBA was up here. We're adding tennis very, very soon. I'd love to see golf. Not that I'm sure what the data points are for golf, but I could learn golf maybe through the tool. You know, we held one of the co-founders, he wants, you know, the World Cup on here. He wants to, you know, look at soccer or whatever kind of stuff. So there's no limit, really.
Whatever. So as long as there are stats on it, you can pull them in. And
Yeah. Our API has tennis already, actually, for like 9 different major kind of tournaments or whatever. So tennis will be up very soon. You know, what's interesting is like for me, I historically bet basketball and football. I love to bet football, done very well at football. Basketball, I've done good in some years, not so good in other years. But baseball is not a sport I bet a lot historically. So I've used this tool a lot over the last couple of months to get better and better at baseball, to the point last night I was 3-0. I took 3 underdogs and hit them all. But the point of it is I started off early in baseball looking for games where I had the biggest gap between the predictive confidence. And what I learned really quickly is I was overpaying on the juice, and I was getting crushed. Like we talked about earlier, I could hit, you know, 3 out of 4 games and still money.
Break even or lose. So right here, let's talk about that juice for just 1 second on that Miami-Philadelphia game. 450 to minus 720.
Yeah, it's a live bet. It's 8th inning, so
But the numbers in and of themselves represent you've got a negative 720 on that. So for my money, I'm not. I'm
you have about $720 to 100. I'm not doing that. I'm for a 1-run lead. I'd rather bet $25 and try to make my 100 back on the other side.
There you go. So there you got 4.5 upscale versus the minus, which I didn't understand that either until and the first time I bet that, I go, well, I'll just put 1 unit on each team and I'm going to go easy with this. Look at the confidence, and then the juice killed me.
Here's a good example of what you're saying, right? San Diego, Colorado. This is our demo model, so let's take it with a grain of salt because we've spent like 5 minutes on it. But if you got 41 here and you're paying minus 175, almost 2 to 1 to win your money, and down here you're getting $1.50.
And it's only 41% confidence.
The confidence is not dramatically apart. So I've started leaning towards looking for the plus money games that are.
So if you hit it, you're bet 4 games.
Yeah, bet 4 games tonight. You hit 3 or 4, you're doing great. You bet 2 out of 4, you're still making money.
And like you said, that 33% to 41% is really pretty close. Mm-hmm. And if you hovered over that, what was the difference on the? All right, 69
out of 168 versus 56. Not a big difference.
No,
I can tell you with complete confidence and honesty. I actually, this morning had 2 different games where the team was getting in the plus money, had the predictive confidence higher, and yet they were basically by the sportsbook the dog. But the model showed that they actually had a higher confidence, which with those that would have been.
And when you say the model, it is the model that you came up with based on your thoughts and the analytics and what you wanted to combine together. So anybody can pull any one of those particular statistical columns, if you will.
That's right.
And add them, mix, match to whatever. When you look at the analytics page, that first thing we did with all the different charts saying, well, this is X, Y, or Z, this is close, not so much. You can make that decision saying, hey, is ERA more important to me? Mm-hmm. Is, walks or hits or winning percentage or, do you have anything in there on what kind of mascots they have? And how much fun they are.
I think that gadget's coming, actually.
All right. I would like that one. And the other one is, who has the best food in the bleachers?
Oh, that's definitely a gadget I need, especially for the local games.
Absolutely. Yeah, you want to know. And where's the cheapest beer stand in the stadium?
There is no cheap beer in the stadium.
Yeah, that's well, you're right there. That's a mortgage payment.
That's why we do that here.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
Yeah. The biggest thing is right now we're prepping for the NFL and college football, which doesn't even show up on here, but it'll be up here in a matter of a few weeks. Yeah. College football, we'll probably stick to the Power 5 conference teams. There's 130 or I don't know how many teams are on the college football. There's a lot. So obviously it can get a little bit crazy. Right now, we need to probably evolve the platform a bit and get all, 200, 300, 400 different schools, but I think we'll start with Power 5 to kind of get everything working the way we want it to work, and then we'll add those smaller schools over time.
So if somebody is coming in and joining right now, what should they be aware of based on the new NFL season that's coming up? It's not, you don't have statistics back to 1941 in NFL per se. Is it going to kind of build itself up on each season as you play?
That's such a critical point, actually, because like NFL, we came with the idea. We've been talking about this for a couple of years. And actually what it was, to tell you a little funny side story, is one of the co-founders, him and I were watching, we're obviously living in Kansas City, and we bet on the Chiefs Super Bowl. And he was like, why you bet on the Chiefs? You know, you're kind of a hometown homer and you want to bet on the Chiefs. I'm like, no, 59% of the money's on, or the bets are on Philadelphia, 41%'s on Kansas City. The line's not moving. There's bigger money on Kansas City. I follow the money. So we both bet. Obviously, we bet a few $1,000 and, you know, did very well. But so what happened was, we got done. He was so excited over winning the money. He's like, well, how do we take what's in your head from reading the lines? I mostly would like fade the public, look for reverse line movement and things like that. You know, sports betting people will do. And so what we did is I built him a spreadsheet to show him how the model would work. And the result is we built this tool and we went through NBA and then basically into baseball. So to answer your real question, football, we don't have any data because we built the tool in the last 6 months. So basically, for me, every week we're going to do a review. We'll sit down like this and we'll go, okay, what's the first week of data look like? We'll do the analytics and we'll start to see 1 week, 2 weeks, and 4 weeks. We'll start to see trends, right? Obviously, year-on-year data, month-on-month data, early season versus late season is beautiful. We're not there yet. But I promise you, do this every week. We will do the analytics. We will break it down. We will understand the trends, and we'll get better. The data will get better, and the confidence will get better. And obviously, that'll make money. So,
absolutely, it's amazing what I've been able to do so far with the tool in the few weeks I've been associated with the tool in and of itself and using it. I actually won some once I figured out what the hell it was I was doing, which was pretty nice. And I'm really excited about NFL season coming up, and college football, another one. 8,553 games a day. You need some sort of tool to figure out how you're going to bet on those things, if that's what you're going to do.
That's such a good point too, because actually when Jeremy and I were talking about building this tool, I told him on Sunday mornings, it's been 1 or 2 hours on Sunday morning, watching ESPN, looking on the internet, and I was like on my post and notes going, okay, what's the reverse line movement on the games? Where are the trends at? And I was trying to mentally go through all these games. And that would take me an hour or two. Now with this tool, I'll wake up, I'll grab my coffee, I'll sit down, I'll have these things ranked. Obviously, I'm not going to let the computer fully decide. I still have to use my brain to figure out which games I agree with. But it automates everything I did before. So I just have to look at it, summarize it, make a decision.
And it is just the numbers. So, you know, when you take some of the emotion out of some of the bets, because I know I've lost a lot of money on the times when I did bet because I bet emotionally, not, you know, this is my team, I'm going to bet on them. And even though, like you said, well, all the money's over here and then sit here, and I did it anyway. Yeah. And, you know, so that it was like, I just lost it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to putting this through the paces this year, and for people that are going to be joining and listening to the Beyond the Odds podcast, we will be doing this every week especially during the NFL season.
Oh, for sure.
To review after, like, I believe we're planning on Wednesdays right now, but that could change to Tuesdays, whatever. But after the Monday night games are done, so we've got the analytics for the previous week, and then what do we think is going to happen next week? And we'll take a look at, you know, just some of the information that comes up, because it's so player dependent in the NFL. Like if you lose your starting quarterback, for example,
right?
Well, what's that going to do? You know, so everybody's that money's going to move, the lines are going to move, but we're going to sit down and we're going to discuss that a little bit and walk through a couple of models on that and figure out, well, where do we want to bet on this week?
I look forward to it.
Come and join us on that. I'm really excited about it.
I'm super excited about it. One last kind of plug on this thing too, just so people know, is if you go to the home page, look at the down kind of the page, maybe 2/3 of the way down, there's a 10-minute video here that kind of walks through how this thing works, because a lot of people look at it, they go, oh, a lot of information here. How do I consume it? This is a nice little way to stop it, pause it, read it, listen to it, whatever, and just understand it.
I really needed that, because like I said, when I first started on this, I hear what you're saying, but I'm just overwhelmed by the different pieces and not being a regular sports bettor. there's a little learning curve.
There is a couple of things I can show you too really quickly just to kind of follow through on this piece. Is there's obviously a help button. It has video so you can see how these things work. You can put notes up here in this model. Brian bribed me to do this, whatever.
With a cheap bribe.
Yeah, exactly, because he's cheap. But anyway, the point is you can put notes in here. You can share it with it. People can add notes, share it back. Pretty soon, like I said, the next couple of days, there'll be a request feature. I can request a model from you as I see you in the rankings every day. So we're kind of building that ecosystem that allows people to collaborate, understand the data. And it's powerful. There's a lot more to come. I think we're a few months into it. But think about football. If we get let's say we get a gadget that pulls in weather. What if there's weather in Green Bay? We can get a weather API and know that in Green Bay, Wisconsin,
that is minus 400. And
the forecast.
Lake effect snow.
It's going to be 4 feet of snow and 20 below zero. We know that before, and we can start to predict that and how that affects the score. You know that, right? We have a lot of things. We want to make this easy to use. Make the analytics a little bit stronger. We want more data points, more graphs, bar graphs, whatever, right? Just want to really automate this thing and make it easy to use so the adoption continues. Right now, the adoption's been phenomenal. The feedback's been phenomenal, but we're just scratching the surface. We have a much bigger play and a much bigger plan, and we're excited about it. So, yeah, we had a guy on today that claimed that he was a handicapper in 2018, and he's trying to figure out how to use the tool because he's been doing spreadsheets, and he's very good from what I can tell. I talked to him on, the chat earlier, and he was really hammering me about a bunch of stuff. And at first I thought he was a regular user. Like, well, maybe we can collaborate. You share me your model, I'll talk to you. And he was kind of laughing. He goes, I'm not sharing my model. He's like, I'd like to sell my model. I was like, yeah, well, we'll talk about it. But there's a lot of cool features coming.
Yeah.
There's a lot of collaboration. It's a community, right? Obviously, there's benefits to collaboration. Some people will or won't, but I'm excited to see where it goes.
I am too. This is fantastic. And for all the listeners coming up, Beyond the Odds is going to be a regular podcast where we can continue the conversations and bring up information. And hopefully we're planning on also doing some live podcasts or live events where we can get the user community to come in and talk as well about this. It's all just starting to ramp up right now, and it's really exciting. I love it.
I do too. I can't wait to talk to the users, kind of hear their feedback. What kind of gadgets do you want? What do you like or don't like about the tool? Because that's really what's going to drive the evolution, right? I can tell you I've been betting on and off my entire adult life. So it's been 25, 30 years, whatever it's been. And the one thing I've learned is discipline of not betting emotionally. And so I basically try to not bet my favorite teams. And sometimes I'll see a trend or some data. I'll go, I like it. I understand it. I know the team. I'll do it. But I try to just kind of stay away from them. We'll talk about that during the NFL season.
Yep, and that's a good time. But I'm still betting on the Chiefs. But that's my problem.
Super Bowl.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that's not a bad bet.
I don't think it's a bad bet either.
Yeah.
So anyway, this was a great episode. I love this. And next week on Beyond the Odds, we'll have another stimulating conversation regarding the new tools. And the things that are coming down the pipeline, because there's a lot of exciting stuff that's going to make this a very, very powerful tool for people to use.
I can't wait. I can't even imagine what it's going to be like in a year from now. I mean, the amount of tech evolution and just the usability and all the analytics. I mean, we're so giddy about it. I just can't really get there fast enough.
All righty, man. Till next time. Boom. We are out on Beyond the Odds. We'll see you next time.